super happy to have this next guest on the show. I've been a fan of hers for a while, going all the way back to the fight, if you remember, B, that was a win-win situation against Andy Nguyen. And we were talking about the woman they call Kill Her B, B Nguyen. Yeah. Welcome to the show, B.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So that was, what, 5 years ago in that King of the Cage against Andy Nguyen? Or did you have 2 fights against her?
Gosh, I feel old. Yeah, it was a long time ago. I beat her in my debut, and then I lost to her in King of the Cage title fight.
Right, and that was so close, that King of the Cage title fight. Did you kind of feel you won that one, or did you feel that was a draw, or what was your thoughts looking back?
No, she definitely won, but it was taken from me, I think, because that ref, do you guys remember Cecil People?
Yes.
He hates the ground. He like stood me up from mount. He stood me up from mount. He stood me up from half guard. So the way the fight panned out, I think she won split decision. But if he had not stood me up from mount, like, it would have been different. But yeah, he did something else.
Yes, I remember him. Cecil Peoples, I think, and I'm definitely older than you. I was very young, but I think I saw Cecil Peoples refereeing a kickboxing match in 1989.
Yeah, he's really good with striking, but I think he got let go from the UFC or let go from MMA because he just hated the ground. He just stood people up.
Yeah, he really wasn't. He never really jumped into embracing MMA that much. You're right. He just didn't. He didn't like the ground. I don't think he understood the ground that much. And I think he's probably about 75 years old right now. So he probably felt, I'm done with that anyway. And you know,
he actually after that fight.
Tell me that. What do you say? I didn't hear you.
He actually stopped after that our fight.
Oh wow, you're kidding me! That was his last MMA fight. Interesting. It's too bad he couldn't have left one fight before that, I think, in retrospect, you know. But did you, it seems like you had a good rapport with Andy Nguyen. Obviously, you both have the name, the similar back ancestry. Was she someone that you had a good relationship with? And does that affect you in your fights if you have, like, not only not bad blood, but good blood with your opponent?
Yeah, we were friends at first, and then she like did this weird like starting a beef thing, but I never caught on to it, so it kind of died down.
Right.
And then after both of our fights, I texted her and I was like, "Bro, was there like supposed to be a like you should have told me. I would have went with it." But
yeah.
I wasn't aware, so I just let it die.
That's funny.
Yeah, for me, I'm like so oblivious. I'm just fighting, and in the cage, I'm just like. I've been through a lot, so in the cage is my therapy, so I kind of just go off, and it doesn't really matter who it is. I kind of just go off, and then after the fight, it's almost like it never happened to me. I take nothing personally.
That's cool. That's the best attitude. And you do seem to have a very good attitude. I see some of your posts on social media, and you're smiling all the time and goofing around and doing fun stuff. Has that always been your nature throughout your life, or did it come into when you started fighting, or you know, what's your personality background, if I may ask?
Gotta be honest, I've honestly had dealt a shit card. So when you go through so many things, you really hold on to the good, you know? So that's just been how I've been molded in my life, to just have a good time, always find the good in everything. It just comes naturally to me, I think. I just have that survivor's enjoying life type of mentality.
Absolutely. And I like that. I embrace that as well myself. I think that, like, in life you can run into people that are super upbeat, and maybe while a small amount of them are just super upbeat because their life has always been like, you know, roses and, you know, and silver spoons. But I think a lot of us that have the better attitude, life was really hard. It's not that it was easy, right? And it's just, you know, to be able to persevere and just realizing that, you know, if you let, you know, the grind and the hardship get you down, you're really nowhere, you know. And you know, like I used to have a friend that would say, you know, someone would say, "Why are you laughing all the time, dude?" And he was like, "If I wasn't laughing, I'd be crying, so I might as well be laughing, right? It's more fun."
I know. Yeah, and I don't really take myself seriously. Honestly, don't take other people seriously either. So yeah, I just have fun with it. I'm like, whatever. And people sometimes get mad because I'm always so happy and they're angry, but you know, it is what it is.
It absolutely is. Well, you're fighting in the atom weight division, I believe, or did you move up recently to straw weight?
So I am atom weight in Asia in one, which is 115,
Right.
because we hydration test and we don't cut water. So it's almost the same thing. I used to go into even at Atom 105. I went into fight week at 115, and I would cut the 10 pounds.
Right.
So it'd be the exact same thing, except to be honest with you, I don't know how keen I am if I left one to be at 105 again. That would be a weird transition back because I feel really strong at 15.
That's what I was thinking. I was looking at your fights, and I've been following MMA since UFC 1. I was young, but I had a copy of the press kit for UFC 1 before the event. So I've been following this sport for a long time, and I've trained in striking and grappling. I definitely am no professional fighter, nor have I ever been or claimed that I could have been, but I've always really been into martial arts and MMA. And so I was looking with my knowledge and my long-time perspective at your record and your fights, and I said, you know what, I just have a feeling from what I'm seeing that B is feeling really strong at this 115, and I think that's true.
Yeah, I feel really good. And then I'm one of those people that I love to fight. I brought up in the weird space, not super veteran to where like Misha Tate and Ronda Rousey, but I'm still a veteran, like back in the day where you just fight to fight.
Yes.
I'm so blessed. So I take any and every fight, even when I shouldn't have. I've never padded my record, so my record reflects that.
Yes.
But I have had some losses at this heavier weight, but if you watch my fights, I've never performed better than I do now without cutting water.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I like that about One. Let's give a little bit of love to One Championship. They're awesome over there, from Chatri, the owner, and Tammy Chan and PR, who is awesome. And yeah, just the organization is really great. And the athletes are safer by not having to cut that weight. So I think that is really awesome. Now, at 115, you're definitely fighting taller girls, but you always have, I think, even when you were at 105, right? So not that big a deal, and you feel stronger, and I think your last performance was a great one, and I think you're in a good position. You are a veteran. You fought everyone there was to fight, and I think you're at a really good point in your career. Do you have another fight coming up that they're talking about, or is there anything in talks at least, or anything you can share?
I do. I can share that I have a fight, and it's coming up soon, within the next 2 months. But I can't the opponent for one day.
No problem.
Yeah, but I definitely in camp right now currently. So
Fantastic.
Yeah, definitely look out for the announcement.
Absolutely, we will. So where do you live currently, and what gym do you train out of?
So I live in Houston, but I'm in Vegas right now at my coach's house. I live in his house at a room. It's kind of like a dorm, I feel like.
Cool.
But I'm in Vegas at Extreme Couture. This is where I do my camps.
Excellent. There are some really good people there. I know Misha trains out of there, right? Have you seen her around the gym? Because I know she's coming back in the UFC for her comeback in a month or so.
Yeah, we see each other every day, and I have my current training partners for this camp is Casey O'Neill, Cynthia Calvillo, and Claudia Gadelha. So I definitely have a good array of partners, and I always have. I just think I thrive in high competition areas. I've never been a fan of being a big fish in a small pond. Like every gym I've been at has been a huge gym.
Absolutely. Iron sharpens iron 100%, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Without a doubt. And you threw out some great names there with Cynthia Calvillo, with Casey O'Neill, and Claudia Gadelha. Big win by Casey, the woman they call King O'Neill in the UFC. She was a dog in that fight. And I remember...
She actually lived with me, and I was with her. She came from Tiger. I met her when she was like 19, and she came and lived with me in Vegas. And I was there when she got the call from the UFC. So it's really exciting to see her success now.
Yeah. Well, I think also the fact that you're training and with her, and you're learning from each other, and it can only help. And then with Cynthia there, who's amazing, What and also Cynthia is now at 125 after having been at strawweight for a while. Casey, is she at 15 or 25?
She's 25 and she's fighting Jessica Andrade coming up.
Wow, that's huge. And then Casey fought at 25 or at strawweight?
They're both at 125.
Okay, so they're a little bit bigger than you. And then Claudia, 135. So that's actually a good look, because you get to deal with someone even a little bit stronger, yet those women still have a lot of speed and explosiveness. So, you know, you got to feel like if you can move around Casey and Cynthia and Claudia, that it can't be that hard to move around another 115-pound girl, right?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely gives you the confidence once you go through that grind.
That's awesome. How about Misha, may I ask? Do you think we can expect a really strong and driven Misha in this comeback fight coming out of retirement?
Yeah, she's looking so good in training, and she's looking fantastic. She's looking fit, and it's hard to say, because as far as skill, I've seen her perform so well in the gym, but it is a long comeback, and she's going to come back with a different type of motivation. And I think it'll be better because she's going to come back fighting for fun, for enjoyment.
Yes.
Less of the pressure, less of the gold, less of chasing. She's really just having a good time.
Absolutely.
Really, the flow state is your best state, you know? So I'm very excited for her.
Yeah, me too. And she's coming back after having 2 children in about a 3-year period, which is amazing. Right now, I don't think you have any kids, right?
No.
How tough is it, do you think, for a woman to have 2 kids and deal with what that does to your body, and then to be able to come back and look like an athlete and get your body back like really strong, like you MMA fighters have to do and compete?
I don't think physically is a problem at all. I think that situation is a problem. Life is a problem. Social expectations is a problem. I think for women, it's hard to find men that will take care of the kids, let you do camp. You know, luckily, if you look at these athletes, these are the ones that lucked out. Mm-hmm. Michelle Waterson has a very supportive husband. Misha Tate, very supportive husband. You know, and that's the rare breed. And then the rest of us, like me, who can't even think about a family yet because, you know, we don't have those supportive systems yet, and we don't know if we can find it. And what I love about people are very angry that Angela's holding up the division, but I do love the statement that Chatri's making, that you won't have to choose between career and having a baby.
Yeah.
And Angela's already back at training. She takes it very seriously, but I really it made me feel a little better that so happens, you know, if I'm dating and something happens, like I can get back to the game, you know what I mean? And that, Chatri saw that. That's one thing that I do love about that. But yes, we always have to choose between family or fighting, and that's just been the case. Misha had those babies after she retired.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just a tough thing for us. Social expectation, gender roles is tough for us, but I think physically, no problem. What's that Brazilian girl? She's a black belt, very famous in the UFC. Came back even better after her baby. So physically, it's not an issue.
Yeah, that's good to know. And I still give a lot of credit to the women that do it, though, because it's definitely a lot of discipline. Even if it's not an issue, it's a tremendous amount of discipline. I remember, like, when I grew up years ago, women were feeling once you're pregnant, you cannot be anything but fat for the rest of your life after that. And I think that, you know, and it's tough. I'm not putting down how hard it is, but I like that women now can not only not be fat, they can be a professional fighter afterward, you know, just having that focus and discipline. You know, what's interesting, I've had Christian Lee on. I haven't had Angela on yet, and I hopefully will in the next several months. She wasn't doing a lot of media when she had her baby and stuff, but a lot of respect for that family. I know their younger sister Victoria is fighting. Can I have your opinion on that? Because I think her first fight won when she was 16 years old. I don't have any hate toward that at all, and I'm certainly not like a guy who's like a prude, but I'm just wondering, if I had a daughter and she was 16 years old and she wanted to fight professional MMA against full-grown women, I'm not sure if I would be that comfortable with that. What do you think if it
Yeah.
was like your daughter or your sister or something?
I mean, that's not an issue because obviously they're not a normal family.
Yeah.
They're bred differently. Obviously, like whatever those parents are doing, they're doing it well. The only thing I had a weird feeling about was signing her, but like when he signed her, I thought it was kind of a gimmick. But then it's a special case. It's not just him finding any 16-year-old, right?
Yeah.
This girl is really a fighter, and I I get a lot of respect for her in her debut. I'll still have to wrap my around fighting a 16-year-old, but if she's signing up for it, her parents are signing up for it, Chachu's paying her this money to do it, I mean, like, fuck it, I'll do it. I'll fight her, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, but who am I to say? It's a little strange, but it's working because it's not a normal family. The family's like bred to fight.
Yeah, and without a doubt. And to have your brother and sister champions, world champions, is amazing. And I mean, how unusual is that too? I think they are the only brother and sister ever to be world champions in any organization. I mean, you know, so you know, super.
It's easy on them, but they really do have a great body of work, especially Christian Lee, to be honest. But Angela, when title coming up, it was a couple of easy fights. I think Angela's top notch, though. Like, I'm interested in seeing her fight the winner of the Grand Prix. But Christian Lee, that kid took on last minute fights, some real gangsters, and he really put them away. So, I mean, they're not just being promoted, like they're legit. I'm pretty impressed with Christian Lee for sure.
Yeah, and he's so young. I mean, he's 2 years younger than Angela, and I had him on the show. Such a nice, respectful young guy. I mean, he's got that championship, you know, attitude, as you can see, and he's very humble, and he's just a really, really good, you know, young guy. I mean, you know, and so yeah, big respect. Some amazing fighters there. And you know, after you, we're having Adriano Moraes on in the next segment, and he's an amazing fighter himself. Have you had any experience running into him, or what do you think of his work?
No.
We lost you there. I think a little bit of a Wi-Fi break there. Can you repeat that? I guess you haven't had any experience.
Yeah, I said he's DJ.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I haven't seen his prior fights, but I definitely saw the one with DJ because I'm a huge fan of DJ's, and I'm really happy for him, you know. Yeah, I can't say I've seen a lot of his fights, though.
Understood. Here's a question I don't think I've ever heard someone else ask, but everyone asks male fighters if guys have picked a fight with them, like at clubs or bars or anything, but I haven't heard anyone ask a female fighter that. Have you ever been in a club or a bar and girls start pushing or shoving or anything like that? And if so, what did you do, or what would you do?
Oh, all the time. I mean, I'm little.
Right.
I'm little, so they're always messing with me. Honestly, I just ignore it, and it's quite silly. I get paid to fight, and I get paid good money to fight. So also when I'm dressed up, and if you've seen my social media, I'm like a completely different person. I don't want to ruin my makeup, my hair. Like, I really don't have time for it. I'm not getting paid for it. I'm just trying to have a good time.
Right.
I completely ignore them. I put up with a lot, honestly. You can not shove me, but you can like nudge me, whatever. You'd really have to hit me for me to fight you back. Just not worth my time, and I haven't had anybody swing on me yet. So I also don't go out to places where people get that drunk.
That makes sense. It's a good idea not to, and really, you know, as a fighter, I remember seeing an interesting post a few years back where Habib Nurmagomedov, you know, Khabib, as some people call him, actually was at a club, and people were really starting to swing, and he spoke up and said, "Hey, look, I'm a UFC fighter, and you guys really should just chill out, because, you know, if not, someone's going to get hurt, and it's going to be you." You know, and then he said, like, literally, the guys looked at him and then said, "Oh, okay, that's probably a good idea." Right? You know?
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool, right?
Yeah, we definitely don't fight in those spaces where we're not getting. and it's quite silly.
Yep, absolutely. So another question, a lot of people notice that you have a great presentation. You're a really good-looking girl. Has that come up? Have you had people mention that's helpful in your marketing? Have you had people not like that? Have you had any jealousy or anything? What's been your experience with your looks and your fighting career?
When fighting was newer, when I started out, it was pretty patronizing, but also worked in my favor in a sense. It's like a double-edged sword. My looks, because it got me. I was for my amateur, I was main event most of the time, and I knew it was for my looks. But then it began to be because of my fighting style, because I'm just very exciting to watch. But also, I think that there's a lot of beautiful women that fight well that don't have the following I have. People don't understand that it's a combination of personality and management of my public persona, I guess. I mean, it's really me, but it's a lot of work that goes into it. So it's not just because I'm a pretty girl and I'm getting a bunch of followers. You know what I mean? I really put myself out there, and I do everything for a purpose. And yeah, so it's quite irrelevant nowadays. It's more of a compliment nowadays than anything, because I have earned the respect.
Absolutely.
But starting out, it's definitely patronizing. So I've had a lot of young girl fighters, ask me for advice with that and how to deal with it. But it sucks, but you really have to gain their respect more than others. But it's not doable, because now at this point, I've been fighting for so long. Despite wins or losses, I'm respected, so it doesn't really matter.
Absolutely. Do you have family support, and have you always, or has that changed at all over the years?
My dad was a big boxing fan. He passed away 3 years ago. My mom is scared shitless, never watches, but always texts me and prays for me. My sisters are loving it now. I had a lot of pushback from my family, but people just are concerned when they love you and they don't understand things, and now they love it. Now they show me off, and like everything, it just takes time to gain people's respect. And that's with everything.
Yeah, without a doubt. Any advice that you could give to female fighters coming up, and do you have any interaction? I think you mentioned you did, at least on one occasion, with a young upcoming fighter. What do you say, or what would you say, to let's say female fighters specifically, or even fighters in general, young people that want to have a career in MMA?
Yeah, I really have one piece of advice, because we're coming up in an odd time where, when things are growing, like female fighting is growing, you're either being pushed to show your body more, or you're being pressured to show your body less, and to say this and say that. My biggest advice, and it isn't to do anything specifically, it is to first sit with yourself, decide who you want to be and who people want to see you as, no matter what it is. Whether, there's some girls that literally told me, like, I come from Miami, I don't mind showing my ass. All I advise you to do is own it.
Yeah.
Choose who you want to be and how people want to see you, no matter what. Show your ass, don't show your ass, religious, not religious, and just own it.
Yeah.
As long as you own it, you can ride it out and be happy when you're done with your career.
Absolutely. Very good advice. Now, One Championship is the biggest organization outside of the United States and the rest of the world, right, in all the Asian countries. And your background is Asian. Are you 100% Vietnamese background, or a mix of stuff?
Yeah, I was born in Vietnam. I'm 100% Vietnamese. Most of my family's there. I'm an immigrant from Vietnam directly, so definitely Vietnamese. And I've grown to identify a lot with my home country.
Very cool. Do people differentiate at all, or fans, or in One Championship, the fighters, even if they were born in Asia, that were raised in America, and those that weren't? Do you feel any difference or any separation there as far as how you're embraced by fans?
I think it's all on how you carry yourself. When I'm in Vietnam, I'm very proud of my heritage and my bloodline, but I don't claim to know so much, and I don't claim to be from there. I give them the respect of learning. I'm still learning how things are, and you just need to know that you can't go back to your home country as an American and be entitled to support and claim it. You know, you have to go back and relearn and pay respects, and that's what I've done, and I've gotten really good feedback from Vietnam. But you really just got to humble yourself, and they'll show you love.
That's important. Can you speak the language pretty well?
I'm fluent. I read and write as well.
That's awesome. Who else from Vietnam has had or is having a career in professional MMA?
Martin Nguyen is a champion. He's Australian Vietnamese. He's born in Australia though, but Vietnam's still very proud of him. I think at this point, born in Vietnam, fighter wise, it's been Kung Lee.
Yes.
Me and Martin.
Yes.
I mean, there's many more, Andy Nguyen and stuff, but I'm talking about well known in Vietnam. It would be Kung Lee, me, and Martin Nguyen.
Kung Lee, and I know all of them. Kung Lee is an awesome guy. I had on the show several times, and he actually gave me a lot of help in learning how to be a broadcaster and a host. He's such a wonderful guy and a legend. Have you had any interaction with him?
Yeah, Kung Lee's one of those guys. He's like, so he's definitely embraced me. We've talked. There's definitely a camaraderie between. He's like my big brother. Same with Martin. We're like brother and sisters, and we help each other out in any kind of way. There will always be that connection, that pride, and it just so happens that we're solid, authentic fighters as well. So I'm proud to be a part of that crew.
Absolutely. My producer just reminded me that we've been on the air for about 4.5 years, and we've had like several hundred guests, and I think Kung Lee was the 3rd guest we ever had. Yeah. And he was just so awesome. And have you ever seen his early fights in Sanshu?
Yeah, I saw some of them. I definitely researched them. Whenever I meet people, I like to research their work. So I've definitely seen some of it. It's pretty impressive. He's still moving though. Kung Lee is still moving because he's doing movies now.
Yes.
And he's definitely mentoring me in that aspect because I have some things coming up as well. But he's transitioned well over to movies. Yeah,
he's almost 50 years old, I think, at this point, and he looks amazing.
Yeah, but don't raisin, honey. He looks good, okay?
Yes.
He looks good.
Yes, I'm with you, I'm trying to put that in a positive light because I'm an old guy myself, but he is amazing. He is showing that if you have the discipline and the work ethic, age is just a number. And I remember when I used to watch him, I was really young in Sanshu. I always liked to see a competitive fight, and he would just smash people. And I remember every time there'd be a new guy with a good record, I'd go, okay, this is finally going to be this guy that can beat this Kung Lee. And it would not go that way. I told Kung that. It made him chuckle.
Yeah,
I'm like, every time.
Violent.
Yeah, no, he is such a charismatic and talented guy. Well, Nguyen, I am so happy to have you here as a guest for the first time. I can't wait to see your next fight coming up. I love that that you're fighting in that comfortable 115-pound weight class. Where can people support you on social media and see some of these awesome videos that you put out and some of the great content you share?
It's quite easy because I am Killer BEE MMA on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube. But if you want to see my fights, you can just YouTube my name, Nguyen, and it's quite easy. And would love to have you come watch some of this violence I put on.
Absolutely, and I love the fact that you're talking to Kung and possibly considering acting, because I could definitely see you doing that, and you'd be an authentic, real fighter and have that, respect right away. So I think it'd be awesome. Say that part again. I talked over you. Sorry, one more time.
I got a lot of stuff coming.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
We're going to look out for it and keep on the great work you do. Really appreciate you, Nguyen. Look forward to seeing all the greatness that you have in store for us.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.